All right. Well, if you guys want to, it's 6:03. Um, and we have a quorum. So today is Thursday, January 8th, 2026. It is 6:03 p.m. This is the Board of Directors for the Windham School District, and I will call the meeting to order. Um, we'll start off with correspondence. Is there any correspondence, Kate, that you can think of that we want to include here?
No, nothing going on as far as I'm concerned. But nothing I've seen.
Okay. I know Heidi had sent some correspondence with updated information, but I think maybe at some point before, maybe during the superintendent's report, Bob, maybe you might touch upon um, the new numbers and stuff that she finally was able to send on. Um, Public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? All right, hearing none, we can move on to changes to the agenda. Kate, is there something I think you had mentioned you wanted to add? Um,
No, I'll add that on. It's about transportation and a long-term plan for a bus driver. That does not need to happen tonight.
okay. Um, so so we're not going to add anything to talk about the bus driver for tonight. Will you want to make sure we have that on for the next month?
I'll totally. Yep.
Okay. Excellent. And before, since we've gotten and Meredith is here, but we have Kate Fellows, Abigail Pelton, Bob Tebow, Widger, is that Tom Widger? Yep,
Yes.
okay, just making sure we got it for our minute taker. Heidi Ross, Crystal Corview, and Michael Pelton. So that way, and there is nobody in the room with me here. So what we've got on Zoom is what we've got. Um, so we'll start off with did Michael or Crystal, did either of you have a public comment? Since you hopped on, we kind of passed that.
No.
Okay. All right. So moving on to new business, superintendent's report. Go ahead, Bob.
All right. Just not much really going on. Heidi can speak to a little bit of the stuff that you're referencing with some financial stuff, I guess. But at this point, the legislative session has just opened, and the only thing I would say that's come out of that, and Abby heard this a little bit this morning in the executive committee meeting from Emily, that the focus in the legislative session appears to be 98% education. And if you saw the governor's speech or you read the text of it, it's very, very much about education and quote unquote fixing and addressing, reforming it. And he went through a lot of different elements of different laws in the past and how they did certain things, but how they were incomplete. And his hope is that Act 73 revisited will really complete that picture. What that means for us as an SU or for you as a district, who the heck knows? We don't really know. But as Emily has been saying all along, is continue to have conversations with your representatives and your state senators. Make sure they know how you feel about really everything, because we just don't know where we're going to end up and what it's going to look like. And so he's still referencing bigger, fewer districts, and he's still referencing schools sizes. In fact, Windham got a little mention in his speech. I don't know if any of you caught that. He talked about some schools that had with certain numbers that have operated and then closed. And you guys were not the smallest one that closed. There was one he mentioned that had 2 students in it when it closed. I'm not really sure what that would have looked like, but at any rate, so that's sort of where we are. And I'll let Heidi kind of jump in with whatever updates she might have on the financial end as well.
Hi, everybody. You can hear me okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I sent this week was really just copying you on what the auditors were getting. Your budget was approved. So your expenditure budget is set in stone. West River is still working on solidifying their budget. We're presenting on Monday a proposed budget, but it's right in the numbers for the taxes are right in line with what's on all the documentation that I've sent the auditors and what I've presented. I did get definitive state adjusted CLAs this week, which I was able to plug in. It had been estimated for Windham at 139%, but it ended up at 136.57% after it was adjusted for the statewide, with the statewide 70.33%. So that's accurate. Your long-term weighted average daily membership, the enrollment numbers, is ready to certify, and that's been accurate since I last spoke. So everything is what we really discussed at the last meeting, and the auditors have everything that I think they need from me. So I just wanted to confirm all that.
You're muted, Abby.
Thank you. Any questions from folks? Okay, and along with the legislative update, I have been following along. What I would like to let folks know is they do live stream. So that is accessible. What I will do is I will forward to Meredith the list of what the agendas kind of look like for folks that want to potentially find the stream or maybe watch the live stream as it's happening, as well as the lists of those on the education committee there to be able to email with concerns as things move forward. We are not out of the hot seat, as Bob had mentioned, listening to the governor's speech was challenging. It does not feel good for the folks in Windham as far as what could happen with us down the road, especially as further consolidation continues to be in the conversations. So what does that look like if we have regional high schools and Windham is, now having to send kids to Brattleboro? There's a lot of stuff that's just we don't know, but families and people need to be paying attention, and we will on this board be keeping that in the loop and sending out correspondence to families for when folks need to step up and write to these individuals if concerns come about. So just stay informed as best as possible, and if there's questions, please reach out to us, but also don't hesitate to reach out to your legislative representatives. Michael, go ahead.
I have a quick question for Bob. Bob, I'm wondering if, given the conversations in the Capitol about consolidation and so forth, I'm wondering if the supervisory union might enter into some sort of agreement, both south and west, and maybe even north, right? You've got Chester not too far away, to come to some sort of like internal agreement to share students and to make it more, I'm not going to say consolidation, but make things more conducive to everyone so that the state can say, well, look, the supervisory unions in this part of the state, the southern part of the state, are working together to make things more efficient. Let's let them, act on their own devices versus imposing some sort of imposed transition.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on, Michael. I think in fact, there's been some voluntary things happening in conversations in other places, in other parts of the state since June when 73 got passed. I do think that there's possibilities for that. I think there's possibilities for even smaller district mergers within SUs or what have you. I know that Stratton was exploring something with BRSU and Windhall, but Windhall kind of expressed that they were not interested at this time. So Stratton's kind of on pause now. I think there's a possibility, and I mentioned this at the West River Budget Committee meeting last night, that I think it was last night. I don't know. It's a blur. But at a recent meeting, I mentioned that some possible SU mergers with districts remaining the same could be a way to gain some economy of scale. Particularly, we were talking about like the MTSS budget and the SU assessments. And so that could be something that gets explored. So I think there's all sorts of possibilities. I will say, as far as the efficiencies and cooperation on that end, our region, the Southeast region, is the first to get a BOCES approved, and we just got it approved the other day by the Secretary of Education. We are the very first one in the state. It's the Southeast Region BOCES, and it includes RSU, Southwest, Southeast, Northeast, Two Rivers, which is Chester, as you mentioned, Springfield, Windsor, Hartford, Woodstock, Rivendell, and SAU 29, which is the joint one between New Hampshire and Vermont around Hanover. So yeah, there's already things happening. We're already looking at ways to save money through services and collaborate that way. So I think you're spot on. That's sort of the starting place. Now, whether that will be enough to demonstrate you don't need to mess with us, I don't know. It didn't sound that way. I'm kind of with Abby that based on the governor's speech, it sounded a little more ominous, but, and whatever. Fingers crossed, we'll do the best we can and see how it plays out.
That answer your question, Michael?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else for legislative update? Think we can move on. Amend minutes from our last town meeting. So when I was speaking with Pat McLean, it was brought up that the minutes had noted, and I'm trying to look at oh, we lost somebody. Trying to look at we lost Bob. That's all right. He has got stuff to do. The minutes that were done stated that the position that Kate had filled in, that my understanding was that the year was noted incorrectly. So I'm trying to look in here now to see the wording. We had school director remainder of 3-year term ending 2026 is what it says in here. So I'm not sure if that is the correct thing that we have to amend. I would like to make a motion that we amend the town meeting school district minutes to reflect the appropriate terminology needed by the auditors. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? We will confirm the exact wording that needs to be done for the auditors and ensure that that amendment takes place for that. That was prior to our current clerk Meredith. This was done by last year's select board clerk
Back.
Mary McCoy did the minutes for the entire town meeting. So, but I think we can make this amendment and approve it here that the error needs to be corrected so that it fits for the report for this year. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. So, next is to approve the school director's report for the town report. So Daniel did send in a draft that I did not see anything wrong with. I thought that that was really well written and spot on.
Mhm.
So I would make a motion to approve the report written by Dan Roth. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, so for discussion, yeah, Dan did a really great job. I thought it hit the nail on the head. And we can get that sent to them this evening. And if there's any challenges with that, just for us to be prepared. If they catch an error in it, we will definitely have to correct it. We may have to have a special meeting. I assured Pat that if that was the case, we would make sure to get that done. So, but I think we should be good to go for that. So, uh, all those in favor of approving the school director's report for town report, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. And now we're into old business, approve minutes. I had the 2 minutes in December that I had reviewed. They looked great. I just didn't have the dates on here. Meredith, I'm sorry. It was December 15th and then the 23rd.
I don't, was there one? I
We
thought it
had
was
two
earlier than
special
that.
meetings, and then the third one we didn't end up having because it was discovered we could approve that here. So we didn't need to have
Hmm.
another one during the holidays.
Okay.
Um, so uh did you have a chance to read the minutes? Do you want to? She has submitted them, they're posted. Do you want to approve them or do you want to hold off
We
and
can, we can approve them. I think that's
okay,
totally
so
fine.
approve the minutes that we've received the drafts for. So I move to approve those minutes. And can I get a second?
Second,
Okay, any further discussion or anything that was seen we need to amend? None that I was aware of. So all those in favor say aye. Aye.
aye.
Motion carries. Um, moving on to financials. So Heidi, while you are here, so this is pay order number 8 for $25,982.48. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I did have some questions. Here I go, pulling up my windows again here that let's see. So it looked as though there were, if you just look at the words, Abigail. The first page that has the kind of general breakdown. There's two individual or individual that's listed twice for the half transportation stipend. One amount paid 0 and then another amount paid 700.
I think that's referencing there was a purchase order done because it's a 0. I'm not quite sure how my AP person pulled that report because I've never seen that happen before. But it's one payment. It's probably reflecting the creation of the purchase order. So
Okay.
the two people getting paid half year stipends for transporting.
It looks as though only one person had a dollar amount where the other person did not. And I didn't see their, oh no, they did pop up again. So both people have, okay, got it. So that does make sense. And the student transport bill box, can you explain that?
That's the money paying Cord. We pay Cord, we bill you back for what he's getting paid.
Okay. And then the third quarter assessments,
Yeah.
which is the big chunk there for what the total is. So the truck and trailer repair, the state inspection, and the check engine light. I was unaware there was a check engine light issue. Is there any other bus issues that we should be
I mean,
privy
I
to?
don't know about the bus specifically, but when you get the doc hub in which you look through the bills and can sign off on them, it will have all of the repairs and things that were looked at. So while it says check engine light, it's just a small piece of what they did. Because when Sue inputs it into the system, like she's not going to write out everything that was done on the bus. So there's the state inspection, which they cover everything. And it looks like Cord brought the bus back because there was some things that needed to be looked at. So
Okay.
if you run through those, it will itemize everything out. I don't talk to Cord. I mean, Greg might know, but I think Cord usually, if there's something he's concerned about, takes it in and has it repaired.
Okay. Um, so we will be really kind of mainstreaming, and as Kate had mentioned in the beginning of the meeting, on our uh, next meeting, we're definitely gonna have some more in-depth conversation about transportation and how our board is really gonna have to kind of take more control over what's going on with transportation than where we have. I think Cord has has a lot. Whoops, let me get this screen to come down. There's get ready again. Cord does a lot, but at the same time, we've got to kind of get a better process as to how things are going through, so we're aware of expenses prior to
I mean,
them
sure.
coming through,
I'm
right? So we're just
assuming that
gonna that'll all come up in the next meeting, but just
okay.
as a
You
heads up.
you might want to invite Cord to the meeting so he knows,
Yes.
like, I'm assuming he's doing what he's done all along. So if the board wants to change the process, yeah,
Yeah, so we're
yes.
going to make that a little more streamlined so that it's definitely
Absolutely.
a lot more
Good
clear.
idea.
So with that, I see that I will move to approve pay order number 8 and $25,982.48. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Um, and then the school building sale and canceling insurance. So we are no longer the owners of the building as a district. The town has taken that on. So I know we haven't quite directed you. We were holding off because of the insurance piece, but just to make you aware, Heidi, we do not need to be covering insurance any further. That is now being taken care
I
of by the
have
town.
recently sent the insurance company the information and also sent them a copy of the deed. And I'm just waiting to hear back on whether we'll be able to get some sort of a refund back for what's unused. She said she would come talk to the company and get back to me. On a
Excellent.
brighter note, I don't know if you looked at all the documents on the Doc Hub. Sue did me the favor of adding in that we finally fought for the last year and successfully got a refund of overcharges from First Light to the tune of $4,000. So that just got deposited into the account. So it will help with some of the unexpected expenses like the survey and things that needed to be done that we hadn't anticipated. So that was a real win for us because it took forever to get that done.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Um, okay, so that is all we've got on the agenda for today. So, is there anything else anybody would like to add? Kate, looks like you're thinking about it.
No, I was seeing I was checking who all else was here in case anybody had their hand raised, but I don't see anybody.
Wonderful. Well, um, would you like to make the motion, Kate?
Motion to adjourn. Can I get a
Excellent.
second?
I second. All in
Lovely.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Happy New Year, folks. And
Happy New
thank you
Year.
so much. Look forward to seeing you guys next month on the 12th at 6 p.m.
All right. Thank
Have a good
you.
one. Thank you.